So I have to say that I'm very excited to be here in person. A few weeks ago, I wouldn't even imagine that can happen, seeing everyone getting out of the Zoom from the squares, having pens. I was just thinking that we can save a bit about makeup, but we need to get some more pens. So if you think about 18 months ago, where we all been, so we got into the social distancing, we learned a lot of new terminology. And for sure, this was a challenging, working with SMBs that have to learn everything, and it's very costly for them to move to digital. We tried to convince them for years, and now they need it. Okay, so they come to us and it's like, we need to have something in order to go through this. A nice thing about that, it also brings lots of opportunity, and we heard a lot about these opportunities. So geolocation, even for service providers, is no longer a limitation. Okay? I can consume my yoga lessons online. Think about the winter coming. I don't want to go out of my house, and I can have it now. But it also provides lots of challenges for the SMBs on how to do that. So many of you provide the lead generation aspect of that, and we learn a lot about that. It can be the social media, the directories, the website, the SEOs of the world that bring the leads in a digital manner to the SMBs. But what happens after that? What's next, okay? You know, in order to run a business, you need to have paying customers. So this is not sufficient to just bring the leads, and we think that there is an opportunity to get into the day-to-day of the businesses. That means we heard a bit about the booking online, allow them to have a contactless payment. If we don't see each other, we still need to collect money. And all the aspect of marketing being on top of mind, which is very costly. We heard before about going back to Google, it's very costly. So we already have the lead, we need to nurture it, we need it to become a customer, and now we need to generate more recurring revenue from the customer that we already have. And that's basically the end-to-end customer experience that we at vcita are providing. If you look at what happened in the last couple of months, so we do see the huge increase in engagement level of the customers that using it. As I mentioned, the aspects of, especially the contactless payment. And we're very much aware of all the restriction in Europe. We're playing the game, and we have the solution. This is an open platform. We have APIs. We can connect to any gateway payment that you might want to use. But I think what's important is the usage increasing over time. So if I summarize all of that, so we are aware of the challenges, but we know that SMBs, in order for them to be successful, they need the efficiency, they need it to be very easy for them to use, they need to increase productivity. And to do that, we partner with local partners. We believe that you have the know-how, the skills, the ability and access to technology that you can help SMBs to be successful. And with that, I will hand over to Bart, which is the CTO of FCR Media Belgium, one of our partners, to tell his story.
All right. That was loud. Thank you, Rinat. So unfortunately, I have nothing new, because I think everything which we had on the slides has already been told today, but we'll put it a bit in context. Just as an introduction, FCR Media in Belgium, we go to market with 3 brands: FCR Media Marketing Services for the SMBs, Dexville for the agency, for the bigger SMBs or the bigger customers, and vcita, which is a new brand that we launched, which I will explain a little bit more in detail. I think the numbers on the bottom, so we have customers, we have employees, we have offices, and I think that resonates with the story of this morning. If you want to transact with us, or if you want to do business with us, you still need to talk to a sales rep. That works for a lot of SMBs, or at least that worked for a lot of SMBs, but there is a new group coming on, and I think I agree, if we want to have that market share, we need to cater for different customer journeys, different user journeys. We need to be able to target those SMEs in a different way. If we look at COVID, the whole transformation that has been going, I think this is in line with what has already been told. 72% use digital tools. Digitalization has really improved. Started online selling, making it more successful. They've also adopted contactless payments, so I think that's in line with what all has been there. I think in Belgium, the SMB market is also growing. which is of course nice for us. There are still a lot of SMBs that are starting. Unfortunately, we only have data until 2019. It's always lagging a bit behind. So we're curious to see what COVID has done to these numbers. But still, the target group, the audience for our kinds of services is still there. If you look at when we try to group it into three pillars, into the need, so what we see, and I think that's supported by research that is done by Siinda, by LSA, what we see in the market is the request for an all-in-one solution. They don't want to go to a MailChimp, they don't want to go to all these services, link them together, have a Zapier, and all these kinds of difficult tools that they need to start managing and pay per use or pay per service. So they want something hassle-free, they want something that is already available, that does everything for them, because they need to focus on delivering their craft, being in the restaurant, being on the roof. It needs to be easy to use, mobile-friendly, cloud-based, so that it can scale. And I think the last one is very important. It needs to have DIY capabilities. I think the businesses that are starting now, they want to have a choice. They want to like, this I do myself, and for this I would like to have help do it with me. And for this other service, I would really like to outsource it, and you can do it completely for me. And that's, I think, the challenge, and that's what we are now looking at, and how can we cater for these different customer journeys. So that's our opportunity, if you put it like that. So for that, we have launched vcita, so that's how you pronounce it. It's called vcita, vcita.io. It's a new service. We call it a platform, but it's a combination of all of our services that we are offering already today in the market. So it's a website, and I'll explain more about that later. But the value proposition, and we done a lot of thinking on how to put that into the market, and what do we want to target the SME with. But we believe it's about attracting new customers, turning them into loyal customers, and growing their business. That's what we are there for. It's very simple. You might all say, that's very simple. But indeed, that's what it's all about for us. We want them to reach more customers, to save time on doing business, get paid faster. The payment aspect is also very important in that. And then managing the reputation. And then the circle for us is complete into managing their business. So what are the solutions in there? So it's of course, it's a customer relationship management from vcita with the online booking. That's I think where it starts. We have the website in it to make sure that the bookings can be done on a website, that you're visible into the market. Well, we will have, because we're building the platform, we will have social campaigns on there. We'll have a web shop on there, and the contactless payments will also be part of the solution, so that we become. Before I say that, I think the good thing that we as a directory publishing company that we were in the past, and now a digital agency, is that we have all these capabilities. We have all these knowledgeable people in the company that deliver web presence services, digital advertising services, digital directory services. We know how to get traffic to a website. We know how to build websites. We have great partners, which I mentioned on the slide as well, that help us. And so what we try to do with vcita is to group all of that into one platform, or one idea of a platform, to cater for these different customer journeys. So you can both do it yourself, but you can also do it for me. And what we believe is very important in that is that instead of just delivering leads and traffic to a website or doing campaigns, we're part of the daily business. We are there where the CRM is, where the customer of the customer's data is sitting. And from there, we can start to help grow the business with payments, with campaigns to the websites, and help them really manage their business. We just launched, so we're live now for 1 week. There are still some things which are not completely working as it should be. The site is only in French and Dutch, so you'll need a Google Translate if you want to look at it. For now, it only has the vcita capabilities together with Yext, so that's something that we will continue to build new solutions into the platform, both from a DIY point of view. We haven't decided yet whether we will do it for free or whether it's paying, but that's something that we will continue to deliver. And with that, we hope we can help the Belgian SMEs to become a bit more digital savvy and be out there in the market.
Thank you very much, Bart. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
want to add something. We heard a lot about the e-commerce. So for retail, it's pretty obvious moving to the digital, and that happened before COVID. I think that for services, to move online, it's a different aspect. It's a different way of thinking about what is the service that I provide. And I think this is the knowledge that is missing in the market. And that's, I think, having a local partner that understands the market, understands the service, and the needs of his customers is a huge advantage. So that's something that I think is new due to COVID.
Very good. No, this is a very good point, and I think I would even break that into different segments. You know, like for example, if you go to some of the heavy industry segments who are way far away in the digital transformation path, and we spoke about supply shortage that we're all experiencing, and we can see that there are some ways also to improve not only in the SMB segment but also in the big supplier environment in the enterprise thing. So probably something important also for all-in-one platform providers to think about in the next coming months.
Right. You would think about roofers being something that can go online, right? It needs to be there in person. But the booking, the payment, the marketing, this still happens. So it's not providing the service, but all the rest of the day-to-day. And if you think about that, when he opened a business, he wanted to be a roofer, not to manage a business, which we know that this is a lot of work. And that's what we're trying to save here.
Very good. Any questions from the audience? Yeah, I see Jeff here. Ale,
So Bart, I was wondering if you're considering having vertical solutions built into Site rather than sort of broad thing. Would you build very specific for roofers, as an example, or any other categories?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think we, as part of the solution that we have now, it's possible to change the language. Like if you're in medical services, it's called a client. If you're in it's a customer. So that's something that we can do. We discussed it in the peer group as well by accident on verticalization. I think it's important to have a story on the verticalization that the customer recognizes himself into the industry. So you go through an industry, or you can at least recognize the language that is being spoken. I'm not sure if the solution needs to be differentiated. I think there will be some aspects which are important for one industry versus another industry. But I think the core platform can stay the same. And then if you can select the solutions you want and mix and match a bit, then I think we have a platform that can cater for multiple industries.
Actually, verticalization is a good aspect of that. The systems support verticalization, so language is part of that, but also all the marketing content being verticalized. So part of the onboarding is to state what is your vertical, and then the entire system is going to support it, which is like clear that it's a different way of communicating.
Very good.
So providing tools is, quote, the easy part. The hard part is getting the customer to change their back office processes. How are you addressing that? Because it might lead to significant churn if that happens. Is that just a statement and you're just going to nod?
No. I can start. Totally agree. It's not that it's easy to provide the tools, but basically what we are trying is to stay very much aligned with what they've done before when they were offline. So not changing all the habits overnight, but trying to stay as close as you can to the day-to-day habits. And it's not like, majority not using notebooks anymore, okay? They're using Excel. So allow them to upload their contacts to the CRM. Make it very easy for them to understand what's the next step. Take them to a good onboarding process. And we're trying to speak the same language so we don't change everything overnight. And by the way, they can start with one model that they benefit, they see the value immediately, and then gradually they start really taking advantage of all the other aspects of the platform.
Yeah, and I was able to think a bit about the question. I think what we in terms of the architecture of the platform, we've made it so that the account structure, so how do you where your personal data sits, that's really core, and that's a bit separated from the vendor platforms, if I can call it like that. So we are able to integrate different supply chain systems, ERP systems, if that would be the case and if necessary. we could open it up like a bit of a marketplace to make sure that the data from other systems goes into the CRM in a more automatic way, and so that it at least can work with the systems that the customer already has.
It takes back to like the technology, which I mentioned, this is an open platform. So we're not trying to replace what you already have. We can easily integrate with anything else, and we are about to launch an app market that gives you all the flexibility, and then goes back to the verticalization that needs different solution, or location that needs different solution. So as Bart shown before, this is like the platform. You can pick and choose.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, Rinat. Thank you very much, Bart. A round of applause for these guys.